morning. It's another beautiful Friday morning here in the city of Umuahia. This is Flow 94.9 FM, the Flow of Godson State. It's the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. My name is Wisdom Thomas. It's no news that the opposition senators from various political parties have threatened to commence impeachment proceedings against the president, Muhammadu Buhari, if he fails to address the high level of insecurity in the country. And of course, the federal lawmakers have subsequently issued a 6-week ultimatum to the president to tackle the security challenges. Some persons would say that they are rallying around at this very point because it seems the same have gotten to their doorstep. Others are hailing them, raising their hands, saying, of course, it's the very right step in the right direction. But we're going to look at this definitely on the platform this morning. Before we look into that and then you get to meet my guest, we have a report on that very issue. Let's have a listen. And when we make a return, we would go straight into the business of the day. Stay with us.
Anxieties over the heightening insecurity in Nigeria reached a new height yesterday as senators from opposition parties issued a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to tackle the security challenges bedeviling the country. The opposition lawmakers, who earlier staged a walkout from the plenary, also threatened to commence impeachment proceedings against the president should he fail to address the insecurity within the period.
At the closed session, we agreed that we will give the president an ultimatum that failing which, if it is not complied with, will move immediately to give an impeachment notice.
The presidency has also described the threat as laughable.
Now the question is, are those minority lawmakers responding now because the thing is coming near to Abuja, their comfort zone? Is that why they were playing to the gallery as we saw them earlier? What matters now is the security of the entire country.
In a chat with Flow FM News, the Commissioner for Documentation and Strategic Communication, Ugochukwu Emezue, said although the threat by the lawmakers might not see the light of the day, it, however, helped to put the president on his toes.
But for me as a person, they cannot impeach the president. They will not, because, you know, the makeup of the National Assembly. Look at the posture of Lawan as the Senate president. He won't allow that. Religion will play a role. Tribe will play a role. But for me, what they have done is exactly what they should do.
In his contribution, APC Publicity Secretary Oke Ezala justified efforts of President Buhari in the fight against insecurity, adding that Nigerians should be patriotic and give the administration a chance.
We don't expect to keep quiet. It is not. When you get terrorists, you still see them at least having their final onslaught on the society. So if you ask me, the best we can do as a people is to be patriotic.
On his part, the chairman, Online Media Practitioner Association, Abia State, Paddy Anyatomo, said it is almost impossible to initiate the process because of the influential power of the president and the present composition of the 9th National Assembly.
And a Nigerian president is a powerful man today because of stick and carrot diplomacy they do. I don't think that APC, as presently constituted, having Buhari's friend, a Senate president, can allow that. It's not even funny to you that they have come for 8 weeks holiday.
To impeach the president, a resolution must be adopted and supported by not less than 2/3 majority of all the members of each house. Once adopted, the president shall stand removed from office as from the date of the adoption of the report. Patricia Mborowo, Flow FM News.
I'm sure that you heard that it is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion here on Flow 94.9 FM, the Flow of Godson State. I told you before we went on that very break where we brought to you that very report that we're going to be looking at the threat by the opposition party in the House of Representatives and that of the Senate to impeach the president. And you heard that clearly. And then let's get to meet my guest this morning. We are live on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Flow949FM. You can see what is happening right here in the studios. You can equally drop your comment right there. I'm going to be speaking with the former member of House of Assembly, Honorable Chukwuemeka Osagbaka, as we take a good look at this very issue. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's get to the swing of things already. I'm going to start by trying to get your reaction. How does it feel, or what's the feeling like, understanding that the Night Assembly at this very moment is talking about the impeachment of the president? I mean, just months away from his tenure, his second term expiring. How does that make you feel? What is your feeling about that in the first place?
Yeah, thank you. Impeachment is a very serious matter, actually. Talking about impeaching the president now, barely 7 months to the end of the administration, I don't see it being feasible, because of the timing. The impeachment takes a lot of process. You have to, after so-called 6 to 8 weeks is being given, then they have to like write the Senate president, give him a week to respond to them, write to all the National Assembly members, seek their opinion by way of motion, get at least 2/3 members before they can even set up an impeachment panel. This will take a lot of time, This will take a lot of time that I think we don't have right now, based on the timing of the administration. But then, the trend is also symbolic, because if you check the trend of things right now, the level of insecurity is very high. And it's as if the security architecture, Nigerian security architecture is almost failing. So
okay.
The rest of the security is very high, because other multiple, that has multiplier effect on other parts of society, parts of governance and so on and so forth. Inflation is up, and they actually have to get the executive to try and handle some of these things, because it's a situation where schools are forced closed for threat of insecurity.
Honorable,
people no longer can move around freely.
We will get to that very point, Honorable. Let's stay with that very threat. The Night Assembly, this, in the eyes of so many, is one which is or have been acting like a rubber stamp lawmaker or Night Assembly, so to say, given the fact that it seems as though they are always on the same page with the executive. And this is the opposition we're talking about, raising the motion of impeachment. Do they have the cojones? Do they have the balls? Do they have the capability of ensuring that this very impeachment process can see the light of the day? Do they have what it takes? That's the question.
Yes, of course. Like I told you, I think it's a bipartisan thing, because you have people like Zeta from Kogi State who are also supporting it. I mean, it's APC. It's a bipartisan thing, because you're not talking about if there is no state. If the state does not exist, the party is meaningless. It is true that APC may control the majority both parliament, but these people must have a constituency to be able to represent. If the state is no longer there, then the party does not exist. So it's a bipartisan thing based on the level of insecurity that's going on in the state. It's like the state is being threatened by the level of insecurity. And it's even if they were seen as initially as a rubber stamp executive, because they try to encourage executives to see if results will be achieved. But, going by the present situation, everybody feels threatened. It's no longer a question of respect for party and all that. It's not a question of the survival of the state. If they are not able to do their job, then that means the state might eventually not survive. Because right now, the level of insecurity is so high. You can imagine a situation where bandits are threatening to kill them, threatening to kidnap governors, trying to take over the capital of the country. It's that bad. So I think based on the oath of service, I think it is in their interest they're acting in their interest as well.
Okay.
Kind of defend the state. Yeah.
You mentioned that it's a bipartisan thing at this very point, the point where everybody wants to be part of something that is progressive, at least in terms of having to sort out the security issues bedeviling the country. Now, some would look at this as a political grandstand from the opposition. I mean, given the fact that this is when it's coming to life, a lot of persons would have been expecting this to happen before now, but it is happening only months to the next electioneering period, and they are thinking this is just about to sway things, the minds of Nigerians away from the party at the center and towards their own part, maybe trying to make Nigerians feel that they care. Don't you think it's a political grandstand?
Well, the thing is, politically, there'll be relevant. For example, you can't say it's purely political, but it's a political process that we're engaged in. So decisions will always have some political undertone. But like I said earlier, when we started, I said, given the timing, okay, we'll barely have 7 months to the end of this administration. Right? So given the timing, I don't see the feasibility in achieving, that impeachment, because if you take 14 days before, 7 days after service, 14 days and 14 days after the Senate President receives the service, to inform the House and the state they pass the motion, go ahead, and so on and so forth. Get to the level of the panel, teaching the speakers of Nigeria, setting up a panel and a 7-man panel and all that. It would be almost 5 months by then, or 6 months. So I don't see it possible based on the planning. But the effort is commendable, because if you can't stand the heat, then you need the kitchen. Everybody won't sit down and wait until they are overrun by bandits. It's everywhere. Southeast, northeast, northwest, southwest, everywhere.
You mentioned
this is unsafe, and this is having a multiplier effect on the entire system. The economy is so bad. A dollar is now 710 naira. You can imagine.
Honorable,
these are things that have led to this decision.
Okay.
Because if there is no security, there cannot be progress, and security is the primary objective and primary responsibility of the government.
Okay, Honorable, you mentioned heat, that everybody is actually feeling the heat at this very point. And just like I did mention earlier on, trying to reiterate things, some are equally arguing that the Night House are now standing to their feet to talk about impeachment, because this heat, which have been felt across board in Nigeria, have gotten to Abuja, where all of them are based at this very point. Do you think, that this very assertion is not doesn't hold water?
Well, if I hear you correctly, you're saying that there's a school of thought that feel they are taking this decision because
it has gotten to them, right? To Abuja, precisely.
Good. Now, if for whatever reason, they are taking the decision, it goes on the government. It is the interest of the government and in the interest of the people that problem is solved. If Abuja is under threat, let us say Abuja is under threat, and if that singular action wakes them up to their responsibility, then so be it. But I think that these things have been happening. People have been talking in the minority, but with the present surge, everybody feels threatened. And it's not about people feeling threatened as an individual. Most feel that the state is being threatened. You can imagine the security architecture of Nigeria collapses in such a way that bandits now take control of state capital. You know?
Yeah.
It portends a whole lot of problems. You know, where bandits are threatening to kidnap the president and all that. I mean, bandits fighting a state that has the entirety, that has an army, has an effort, has security to be curtailed. But the state has the capability, should have the capability to be able to contain, this bandits.
You from what you've said, if I had you quite correctly, you've mentioned the fact that the timing doesn't seem right. Then for this very impeachment process to happen. But what about if things can be done aptly and swiftly to ensure that it's done? It requires a two-third majority of the House of Representatives, and as well talking about the upper chamber, the House of Senate, for this to be a reality. And looking at the numbers in the House of Senate, there are about 109 senators, with 38 of them, that is from data emanating from the 1st of June. 38 PDP senators. APC have around 62. That's a little more than 12 more than PDP. I'm talking about the House of Representatives. They have 360, with 207 of these persons part of the ruling party at the center, APC. PDP having only 125. The numbers doesn't quite rightly seem as though it's going to favor the PDP. You've mentioned it's something that cuts across party lines at this very point. But what other processes do you really think that the impeachment process can still be a reality?
Well, like I said earlier, the Constitution stipulates, what can lead to the impeachment of the president, gross misconduct. Okay, and gross misconduct can be held up for the lawyers to interpret what it means, or for the House to determine if the negligence, basically that's what has been committed here, is tantamount to gross misconduct. So it's a lot. It would take a lot before we be able to be president. The president was elected by the Nigerian people, and there are checks and balances to make sure, that he is not really taking off. Okay, which has led to this process. What I'm saying is, given the time that is left, which is barely 7 months, I don't see how all this can be feasible, given the fact that in some cases, the panel issue, they have 3 months to investigate and come back and report. Okay? So, before you go through all that, some have 2 weeks, okay, before certain actions are taken and so on based on the stages. You will have 5 months that have passed already. Mind you, the president also will defend himself if he gets to that stage. He has the right to call a lawyer to defend himself and all that, at the impeachment proceedings.
Okay.
It will take time. With all this, I don't think we can achieve in 7 months. But the symbolism of the action, what I'm saying,
okay,
is important. If this will sit up president, there's no fear. It's achievable. It's not impossible.
Okay.
But the most important aspect of it is the symbolic interpretation of it. If your people, for you to want to impeach a president, it's almost like passing a vote of no confidence on him. So it's left on him to now sit up and call his people together to, create some kind of level of competence, because this is basically the level of insecurity is unacceptable. So it's just unacceptable.
Okay, this is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions here on Flow 94.9 FM, and we've been looking at the threat from the opposition in the red chambers, or basically the National Assembly, where they are threatening to impeach the president, that's Muhammadu Buhari, in the wake of the spitting insecurity across the country. I mean, some persons will be saying, all of us are victims waiting to happen. Who will be the next? And they are telling the president it's high time you sat up and took the right decisions to ensure that the security apparatus and things happening in the country will be done quite rightly so. But at this very point, we'll go on a short break. When we make a return, I guess there will definitely be a part of it. There are more questions, more things to look at. Stuff like, do we think that the president can be able to sit up? Can this force him to get things done and dusted? And then, if impeachment is not the right call at this very point, are there other measures that could be taken by the National Assembly in tandem with the executive to try fix things? These are many more we'll be looking at when we make a return for the second half of the platform. Stay with us. It is very elating to know that you are right there listening to us. It is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, where we take a look at critical issues involving Nigerians and everything that has to do with us. We'll take a look at them, we dissect them just about to ensure that you're very much informed and you take the appropriate informed decisions when it's time. And this morning we've been looking at the threat from the opposition members of the House of Assembly, saying that they would impeach the president if the right measures are not taken to forestall the growing insecurity in the country. It's being the Kuje at some point, they will attack at another point. Where will be the next? And on the platform this morning we have on the platform this morning we have Honorable Chukwemeka Sagbaka, who is a former member of the House of Assembly, and we have been looking at this issue. Honorable, you said the time doesn't seem right, and then of course it's a good one that they are trying to make a move in impeaching the president because of what they think is negligence of duty, reportedly, in terms of the security issue. Now, what measures should be taken? Are there things you think should be done to save the security situation in the country?
Of course, obviously there are things to be done. The state is the state has an army, you have the DSS, you have Navy, you have the Air Force, you have the police, and so on and so forth. There's a full security architecture in place. All you need to do is, galvanize them. That's performance, which I think is lacking. I think the problem is with the leadership. Or they have people, men, capable people that can actually take a rein on this pandemic and try and fight it. It wasn't like this. All these people have always been there. If they remove the political angle.
We are actually struggling to hear you a little bit. Maybe you can change your position so that we can have a better reception, Honorable.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, this is better. Go ahead.
Yes, I said, obviously there's a lot can be done. This is a country with the security architecture, with so many agencies involved in securing the country. So it's a question of getting out the best from the present situation, from the present crop of officers. I think it's a leadership problem, because if you have capable men within these agencies that can actually given a free hand, these things can be contained. We believe there's a political angle, the sustenance of this bandit.
Okay. Now, the next question to ask is this. The House of Assembly, they have issued the threat, Mr. President, you have to fix the security apparatus of the country, get it up and running, things be done rightly so. And on their own part, they've embarked on an 8-week vacation. Issued 6 weeks ultimatum to the president. They've embarked on an 8-week vacation. How does these add up? How do we get to assimilate this very thing?
Well, I think their vacation was due already, before this thing that basically.
But some are thinking is yeah, the network is becoming a little bit incomprehensible. We're not understanding what it's doing at this point of the conversation. Try to reach out to Honorable Chukwemeka. I mean, some persons are thinking that it's quite insensitive of the House of Assembly to go on a hiatus. Yes, it may be due, but given the state of the nation at this point, they would have put the problem of the country in the forefront of their decisions, or perhaps make it their top priority. Well, we are finding it outdoors to re-establish connection to Honorable Chukwemeka at this very point. If you're just joining us, it is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion, and what is on the front burner this morning is this threat issued by the opposition of the House of the National Assembly, talking about impeachment of the president over issues of insensitivity in tandem with the security apparatus. It seems he's joined us. Honorable, thank you for joining us again. The network is not a friend at all this morning.
Well, I was wondering as well.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, this is okay.
Okay.
So you were trying to react to questions raised in tandem with them going on an 8-week vacation after issuing 6 weeks ultimatum to the president, and some will feel it is incongruent, it doesn't add up.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I was trying to say that this, like the program, the legislative program are already planned ahead of time, but considering the situation of the country, presently, one would have thought that, at least as an act of patriotism, one would have thought they would have shelved the holiday for at least 1 or 2 weeks to make sure that things are in order before taking such a long vacation of 8 weeks.
Okay. Before I let you go, one more crucial question. I mean, when this very government were coming into office, one of the promises they made was that they were going to fix the security situation of the country, and then they would get things up and running. Most persons are feeling that they've not done rightly so in the aspect of security, but then we are almost at the twilight of the governance of Mr. President. Now comes this very ultimatum. Do you think that in the right sense it's going to sit the president up, it's going to make him to take drastic measures just about to ensure that these insecurity bedeviling the country can be reduced to the barest minimum, at least as a legacy as he leaves the office come next year?
Don't forget that. Yeah, don't forget that there were fallout from the various party primaries, and not too many people not too many of these National Assembly members are happy with the system. So the issue of having the numbers, if it turns out, you might be surprised they would eventually have the numbers. So I think that the president understands, the presidency, the executive, I think they understand this fact. And I think that, they will sit up because it's in the interest of them to sit up. If there is no state, there will be no government, So I think they will sit up because there's been, and there probably, affect a few changes at the hierarchy, at the top level of most of the security agencies to instill some kind of energy. There has to be a new strategy because so I think that obviously the presidency will sit up.
Okay.
And possibly will start seeing some changes in terms of security.
Let me sincerely appreciate Honorable Chukwemeka Oswambaka, a former member of the House of Assembly, for coming on the platform this morning where we took a look at one of the trending issues in Nigeria. Thank you for your time and, of course, your contribution, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Do have a lovely Friday ahead.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. He had his own side of the issue, and of course it's gotten to that very point where we can hear from you, and the numbers to call 080-818-26949 or 08116052949. That is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions. Like I told you, we are live on Facebook, facebook.com/Flow949FM. Go there, drop your comment, and equally stay with the page just to have a feel of what is happening here in the studios. And this morning we took a good look at the strength of the opposition. We can call them the minority in the National Assembly, talking about an impeachment process to be initiated if the federal government and the president doesn't take the right steps in the right direction to sort out the security issues bedeviling the country. What do you think? What is your own reaction at this very point? So who's going to be our first caller? Remember, when you call, tell us your name and location. Try to be as constructive as possible. No name calling, no form of attack on anybody, and not on this platform. No politicking whatsoever. I lost that very call. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Wisdom. My name is Enoch Okuru. It is very reprehensible and unfortunate that after the jailbreak that saw the release of high-profile terrorists, none of those in charge of securing the facility and other masterminds outside has been arrested. The FG is not sincere and realistic in fighting security in the country. Instead, it refers to granting the purportedly repentant terrorists pardon. I blame the lawmakers for their failure to see the dangers at the stage of consuming the country on time so as to impeach the president in order to save the nation. They should not allow such affiliation hinder them from impeaching him without delay at this precarious time. Remember that when the wall and the roof of the house fall in, the ceiling is not left standing. But unfortunately, they have now gone on recess.
Thank you.
If the country is overrun by the terrorists before they return.
Very much for your own contribution this morning. We go on a hiatus, a very short one, and we'll surely make a return and continue to hear from you. The numbers to call 080-818-26949 or 08116052949. You can equally send a message to 090-651-08289. What do you have to say in tandem with what we've looked at on the platform this morning? Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, the moderator.
Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Chikwemeka. I'm calling from Unovomunkat.
Good to have you join us. Go ahead.
Okay. And the Honorable says that the senators impeaching the president, that it is not too late. I say that it is too late, and I know and I am quite sure that the senator cannot impeach the first president. Do you know why? If you go to Senate, how many people are there which is former governor of every state? And if you go to impeach, you cannot give security to a criminal. You cannot tell a criminal to prosecute a criminal.
I don't understand. That is absolutely out of the scheme of things. I mean, it's like I stated, when you're calling, try to be as constructive as possible as you can. When you are making your comments, you're laying them bare. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. This is Okafo. I'm calling from Mumbai.
You're welcome, Mr. Okafo.
Actually, when we talk about number one, I really want to thank the analyst that did the topic this morning. And when we talk about security in Nigeria, I must say that all the political leaders are they are to be blamed because they failed to do what they're supposed to do at the initial time. And now they are coming up
the minority group in the House is now coming up with the impeachment process, which I think is not necessary at this moment. The thing to be done is to, in fact, ensure that the territorial boundaries from their local zones are properly secured. Then make sure that the president do the needful. Let the right thing be done at the national level concerning the security. Imagine at the initial time when the NSCD were attacked, I mean the Defense Council, Defense Academy was attacked, and nobody said anything about it. No investigation was.
Wrap up your thoughts now.
Please, finally, let the government do the needful. Let all the political class come together and ensure that there will be appropriate and adequate security of this nation before it gets into something else.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Manifesto.
My name is Wisdom Thomas. Thank you. Go ahead with your comment.
I'm very, very sorry. Wisdom, how are you?
I'm okay.
I remember Mr. Prince William Shogo from Natural.
Go ahead.
Mr. Wisdom. Hello, Wisdom, can you hear me?
I can hear you vividly. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you so much. Do you learn lefty hand at old age? I'm asking you, Mr. Wisdom.
Well, I do not have an answer for you. Just go ahead with your comment.
All right. Now, the botched impeachment of our president, to me, I can see it as a wake-up call for our president to do what he ought to have done as the president of Nigeria. That their move can never ever make the president to do anything, because he cannot learn how to use left hand at this old age. So the most important, the effective measure to correct him is this: let the lawmakers, let them ensure that the president is being removed through elections, that the party that brought him has brought a very wrong person.
Wrap up your thoughts now. Wrap up your thoughts.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. Still taking your reactions. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us. While I take your calls, let me look at the comments on our Facebook page. This one says, good morning, gentlemen. I wonder how the impeachment will see the light of the day. Things are always done the other way around in Nigeria. What did it take Sri Lanka to push out the bad government in power? Another question is, after the impeachment, what next? I am Pastor Henry Ohaji from Abba. Still taking the calls as well as the Facebook comments. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
My good Lord, now, this insecurity in this country is taking out of hand. The impeachment trial, I'm so happy if they can impeach him after my speech now. I'll be very happy because we are suffering, we are dying. Because this government, the new administration, they have failed us. Both the both the security, both the policy in the question of security, very important involved.
I'm absolutely struggling to actually hear what you are saying. From Ezekiel Alves says, good morning, Wisdom Thomas. Happy weekend from here. He says, honestly speaking, the lawmakers calling for the immediate removal, replacement and impeachment of President Buhari as a part and parcel of the problem affecting this great country today, because raising the impeachment motion at this crucial time is like taking medicine after death. They should allow him finish whatever he has started. After all, he has barely few months to round up his administration. Thank God some well-meaning Nigerians are wiser and smarter now, and I hope and pray we don't repeat the same costly, regrettable mistake we made in 2015. That is your opinion, Ezekiel Alves. I'm gonna stick with the comments on Facebook at this point, pending when the network would allow us do business there. From Eric Bazi says, the factions or split or group in the House doesn't defeat law making, whether minority or majority, when things are not moving on well in the country as a result of insecurity, high cost of living, increasing death rate from unknown gunmen and other rival output. says prior to wrong decision making by the presidency in governing a nation like Nigeria, which has generated to severe consequence in the economy and severe hardship to all and sundry. Let's continue to check if the phone lines will be better off. Good morning.
Good morning, Lucy.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm calling from Omai.
Go ahead.
I believe, though I didn't start on time, I believe that we are discussing about the issue of legislators going on break, right?
We're looking at their impeachment plans. The talks about impeaching the president.
Okay, talked about the impeachment of Mr. It's coming very late. They shouldn't impeach him. They should allow Mr. President to see off his 8-year tenure. You know, when we were shouting this in 2015, the date, everybody felt that maybe we are just talking about it. No one can do what he or she doesn't have. Mr. President, with the body language, with the policies he was making, if presidential this will want to stop all these things that is happening in Nigeria, they would have started the impeachment earlier, even before his second tenure. Then he will sit up. Now look at the situation of things. They want to go because it's coming very closer to them in Abuja. Everybody wants to run. They want to impeach him. He shouldn't. Even if he like, they should make laws that will make it 8 years.
Wrap up your thoughts now.
They will make laws that will make it 12 years. They should give him more 4 years. They shouldn't. All of us.
Thank you very much, Hussein Man No Day, for your contribution. More of the calls. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, my honorable Chiku Emeka. Good morning. Thank God it's Friday, on Friday morning. This time I want to advise people, this is not the right time to impeach the president. By the time we expected that impeachment has gone, I will ask him to allow him to finish this tenure because let him reap whatever he sows. Thank you.
Thank you for your own contribution. Because we are still open to taking more of the calls. 080-818.
Hello.
Turn down the volume on your radio set.
I've done that. Good morning, sir.
May we meet you? Morning.
Yeah. I am Mr. Godwin Abakuru. I'm calling from Obama MDC.
Good to have you, Mr. Godwin. Go ahead.
My dear. The issue you raise is an issue that concerns everybody. To my mind, the move to impeach the president has been long, very, very late. You know, given the economic situation of the country, which is in shambles, given the security situation, where nobody feels safe any longer across the nation, I think this impeachment process should have taken place long before now. The reason why these guys started it now is because the heat now is in Abuja. Even do that as it may, it is not out of place to make the move to impeach the president. The only thing is that Nigerians, you know, fear partisan politics to the treatment of the welfare of the people. I am saying that the House, where their House already, and the Senate should join hands together and take a drastic action, move a motion, and send that to majority and get the president out of office.
Thank you very much for your take. We're gradually getting to the end of the platform this morning, but one more call before we call it a wrap. One more call, one or two more calls as I continue to wait for the comment on Facebook. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. God bless you all in this studio.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us your name and your location.
I'm calling from District.
Ifan, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Okay. No time is late for me. If they can impeach the president, it will be okay for us. Because the marching order given by the president is not holding water anymore. No order from the president is working. So why are we afraid of the lawmakers impeaching the president? Whether it is 2 days to go, from my own side, it's a welcome development. So that all these problems in Nigeria will be solved once and once for us.
Thank you.
Because whenever the president was impeached now,
Thank you very much for your making your own contribution at this very point. Let me as well sincerely appreciate my guest, Honorable Chukwemeka Sagbaka, a former member of the House of Assembly who came on the program virtually actually this morning. I would equally as well appreciate my producer, Mr. Samson Eze Adeze Omekara, and of course those behind the visuals you are seeing on Facebook, Stanko and Chin. Let me equally appreciate everyone who played a part, one or two, to ensure that it is a success this morning. And to you, our dear listener, who engaged us via our feedback platforms, talking about the phone lines as well as our Facebook page. The platform will definitely make a return on Monday. Continue to listen to Flow 94.9 FM, the Flow of Godson State. We hope that God will aid us to tackle the security issues in the country, and that we can live our lives without having to look over our shoulders. That's my way of telling you, have a lovely weekend, and bye-bye for now.